Hello and welcome to We Played This. My name is Ephjizilla and we are having an adventure in gaming with a game called Gridworld. Now, I saw this on Steam. I haven't actually played it. I've just booted it up. I've started up Fraps and we're going to have a quick look at it. Or maybe a long look at it. I don't really know. I saw it on Steam. It seemed really, really fascinating. I'm not sure whether you'd kind of call it a game from what I saw, but we'll find that out, I guess. And I'm sorry, the aspect ratio is really weird, so it's going to look a bit strange, I guess, on YouTube. But stick with me, because this seems like a really fascinating concept. So let's get into it. So the concept here is that we have this primordial soup, and I think this green stuff is kind of like food. It's like organic matter, and these little kind of pink things, and this thing that just popped up over here, and this little one that's moving up here in the top corner, they're creatures that are evolving. Let's think of them as like single cell organisms or some such that are, through chance and consequence and fortuitous kind of events, emerging in this primordial soup. And they have certain characteristics of them. For example, we've got one here that's processing information, but he's not doing a hell of a lot else. Let's see if we can find someone that's doing something. Most of them are just going to sit there. Like, most of these kind of creatures have no particular skills or abilities or anything that's going to help them survive. I mean, ideally, they want to be feeding on this green stuff and potentially, you know, living a little longer. So we got one here that seems to be moving back and forwards, and he died. He starved to death, unfortunately. The idea is that you have these creatures come into existence, random times, through a random set of events, and they have these characteristics, and sometimes the characteristics lead them, like this guy here moving along down south. He's moving slowly. He's getting there though. He's slowly consuming food, so he's doing all right. He's surviving better than most. Now he might crash into another critter at some point that's also got some sort of characteristics that are helping it survive, or maybe he crashes into a critter that's got characteristics that are meaning that it's not going to survive. Who knows? But they exchange DNA. They exchange some characteristics. I imagine random characteristics. I don't know at the moment. And then that can potentially lead to the creation of another creature that has either more ability to survive or less ability to survive. The other thing that's worth noting is around the outside here, we've got what is basically a lava barrier. So they're like in a little rock pool on the edge of a sulfur lake or something, and they've got enough warmth and enough water and enough kind of organic matter of some kind to survive. I don't know if they can really have organic matter. Was there organic matter in the primordial soup aside from like the organisms that were coming to life? I don't know. Anyway, let's forget that. They got stuff to eat. Let's just say that. And they're surrounded by lava, so if they crash into the lava, they die, right? But what's going to happen, I imagine, over time, is characteristics are going to evolve that allow creatures which are best suited to this environment to, you know, expand in numbers and to succeed. You know, survival of the fittest sort of idea. And then creatures that aren't able to survive will die out in greater numbers and will eventually become extinct, and their DNA will cease to be present within the ecosystem and therefore incapable of being passed along. So what we'll have is those characteristics inherent in the DNA which allow the creature to survive will proliferate, and the characteristics in the DNA that cause the creature to die will be eradicated from the system. Look at this, what's going on here? What's happening here? This guy's just, what's he doing? So I'm assuming, here's what I'm assuming. These little skull and crossbone things, if another organism crashes into that, I reckon they die. So it's like a random chance of death, regardless of your aptitude to survive the environment. You know, like accidents, like rock slides, for example. You know, maybe Neanderthal man who just got really unlucky, and all of his tribe was walking through particularly dangerous area after a heavy rainfall, and he got crushed to death by a rock slide. You don't know. I mean, it could have happened. Okay, so I just docked off for a bit and I've come back. It's probably about, I don't know, 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, I guess. And I've noticed over here in this little area and down here, there seems to be less dense food. And I noticed as I was kind of looking, I don't know if we're going to be able to find any of these, but we'll see if we can. Let's go next. We were in the right area for a bit there. Maybe around here? Is that the area? Let's just zoom in. Yeah, there seems to be creatures that are doing things a little bit more around here, and maybe they've stopped now that I've said that. Oh, here we go. Here's one. Where'd he go? There he is, right there. This little fella. Zooming is not the best. You don't really know where you're zooming. Maybe it zooms to the middle. If I do this, yeah, here we go. See these dudes? Like him, and there's a guy down here. They kind of move. They move a little bit here and there, and then maybe that's their trait. Maybe they like move one square, consume something, and then they're really, really slow or something, and they die off relatively quickly as a result. Yeah, maybe because they've got to consume a certain amount of food in a certain period of time, otherwise they starve. So maybe these are they've got some characteristics, so they do move, unlike a lot of the other ones, but they die quickly because they don't move fast enough. So there'll be random mutations within this. So some of them will move slightly faster than others, and over time, those ones that move slightly faster will obviously survive longer to pass on their genes and DNA to other creatures, and over time they will succeed, potentially, I guess. Okay, so it's been about 30 minutes since we last checked in, and as you can see, we've got a fair bit of carnage happening around the map here. Like, stuff is eating its way through the fauna of our little rock pool amongst the lava flows of the primordial soup. And let's go and check out some of the inhabitants. What do we got? Someone doing nothing. Next. I want someone who's doing something. Oh, someone's doing something here. Where is it? He's gone, is he? No, he's still kicking. Look at this. What's happening down here? Crazy shizzle happening down there. Are we following this guy? Is this guy we're following? No. I don't know who we're following here. Someone who's moving this way. Can you see him? I can't see him. Oh, he's dead. Okay, he died. Don't worry about it. There's just all sorts of activity happening here. Now, you can also play God in this game by the looks of things. You can just kind of jump in there, kill random people. Well, they're not really people, I suppose, at this point in time. I don't know. I haven't tried to have a conversation with any of them. That's how I judge whether or not someone's a person, whether I can have a conversation with them or not, which makes it really difficult if you're mute, or if you speak another language. Yeah, because I can't have a conversation with you if you speak another language. Wow, I think that's pretty much how most right-wing conservatives think. This little fella's surviving. Look at him. Is this pizza? Is this pizza from our earlier adventures? It might very well be pizza. Pizza is kicking on. Pizza died. But now we've got old green mustache down here. What's he going to do? Is he going to survive? Is he going to be the one who changes everything? Holy shit, it's Mr. Psychedelic. Mr. Psychedelic is just losing his absolute shit over here. Of course, this is the guy whose DNA is passed on through the ages to later invent ecstasy and LSD. So I'm glad to see that eventually he makes his way through the great evolution of the species. Look at this. What's going on over here? I want to know what happens if something runs into those. Is this guy going to die? No. He just changed direction. So this guy, oh wow, look. Yeah, he's got like he's got this genetic characteristic, right? Where if he runs into something, he'll like go one step and then he'll change direction. See? So he takes a bite and then he'll go this way. See? Oh my god. So this is genetic diversity happening. All right, and he ran into this thing, which I guess is like a brick wall. It stops them from moving. Right, so that's what they do. So these things are brick walls, and I suppose they change color as they degrade over time, maybe. But if something runs into it, it can't go past it. Although maybe something will develop the genetic ability to go past those, and that will be like an advantation. Oh shit! I just created something up there. I didn't mean to. What did I do? What did I create up here? Oh, it's moving as well. My baby. What did I make? See, I'm not sure I like that. I don't want to be interfering with the ecosystem. I don't want to be playing God and creating... Well, shit, they're going to marry each other. They're going to have kids. Look, I think there was an exchange of DNA just then. Holy shit, this guy's going off. My offspring shall rule the world. Amazing. Okay, so we've had a bit of activity, and it looks like at the moment we've got a whole bunch of purple dudes who are just starting to wreck shit in the primordial soup. They got these skills. Let's see, here's one kicking along here. They do cool stuff. So let's see if we can find one first. Here we go. Here's one. Where is he? This guy here. He might be a little bit different to the other ones possibly, or he could be a bit more advanced. I don't know. But they kick along, and I'll just explain a couple of things that I've kind of figured out as I've been sitting here watching this do its thing. So obviously, you know, you've got the amount of time that it's been traveling, the amount of distance that it's traveled. It tells you how many times it's turned, which is, I guess, an interesting thing. How long it's been alive. It's the amount of energy, and the energy replenishes when it runs into green stuff. Oh wait, it's doing that thing, right? So watch this. It kicks. This one's able to kick these bricks along. That's like one of its traits. It can kick them forward, but obviously it slows it down significantly. And this will probably die when its energy runs out because it hasn't had a chance to eat. Although maybe it's going to make it. Will it make it to the green? Is it going to survive? Will it be the one that lives? Yeah, it is. Okay, so it's replenished a bit of energy because it ate some green stuff, which is cool. Tells you how many neurons it's got. I don't know really what that translates to, whether it translates to more complex behavior or not. I honestly don't know. Its mass, it tells you how many offspring it's had. So this one has been relatively successful. It's had at least one child, you know, so there's a following generation. It tells you how many generations it's been alive for. I'm not sure whether that means that, well, I suppose all these things have to be the offspring of something, I guess. Maybe? I don't know. Anyway. Neural activity, again, I'm not really sure what that means. Maybe the complexity of its behavior at a given time? Maybe? Oh shit, did they just have kids? I think maybe there was like a child and then it died almost instantly. It's very sad. Very sad. How much food it's eaten. I'm not sure what this here means. Like, I don't know what they mean by 11.76 bits in this context. So if you know what that means, or you can figure that out, explain it. Right, so what we're going to do actually is we're going to interfere with the system just a little bit because I want to show you how we can save, for example, this guy. I'm going to pick him up, plonk him down over here, and we're going to give him a name, Mr. Perps. Mr. Perps, and we're going to save Mr. Perps. We can then pick him up and put him back. Let's plonk him down here, for example. Off he goes about his merry way. And then you can load Mr. Perps at a later date if you want. Although he should be turning up there. I'm not sure why he is. Can I load Mr. Perps here? No. That's weird. Oh wait, yeah, I think maybe you have to click load. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Cool. So you can kind of build up a bank of your toughest, most brutal, lethal creatures and then pit them in a fight to the death in a future primordial soup if you want, which is kind of cool, I think. I think that's actually really, really awesome. This game, is it a game? I don't know. What defines a game? It's a simulation. There's no doubt about that. It's a really cool simulation, a very cool concept, and I think deceptively cleverly programmed. I mean, the iterations of life and the way that they exchange aspects and qualities whilst only being really simple functions, you know, moving forward, eating, moving at a certain speed, being able to turning in certain circumstances. I think it's just amazing that the guys come up with this. I've forgotten his name, but you can go back to the start and read that if you want and find out who it was, and I'll put it in the description. And I'll put a link to this. This game was like 89 Australian cents on Steam, which I think is just for pure stimulation of the brain when watching this happen. I think this is a great game and a lot of fun and awesome. I'm going to leave it running for ages, and maybe we'll come back and visit it in the future and see how this grid world of mine is progressing. But for now, I think I'll leave it there. You've been watching Ephjizilla from We Played This, just having his mind blown out of his skull by what is ostensibly a simple game with a really, really cool idea. I can't recommend it highly enough. It's just really cool. So if you're into this sort of thing, go and grab it. This is not a sponsored video. This is literally just me saying this is cool. Also, if you like the video, click like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Peace out, people.